Hello friends, this is Team Super Simplified and today we are going to discuss the US presidential election process. We will go through all the steps and stages which take place during this entire exercise and we will also try to compare it with the Indian system wherever it is possible. So let's get started. Before starting, let's see what is the context first of all. Why are we sitting here and discussing this in the first place? If you see, year 2016 is the US presidential election year and a new president will be elected this year. Barack Obama will be stepping down and a new president will be taking over, and the process has already begun, and that is why it is important that you study at this point of time so that you can see things in action while you are going through the newspaper. Another reason is the curiosity and confusion which is surrounding this particular topic, because the entire process is little complicated and it is very different from what we follow in India. So that is why we are trying to address these concerns. If you see, the election date is 8th November 2016, which is far end of this year. But if you go through newspaper, you come across a lot of headlines where they talk about a candidate which is winning in a particular state in the USA and someone is losing. So what are these elections which are taking place right now, and who are these candidates and what are they contesting for? These are some of the questions which come to mind, right? So the entire thing is what is going on. So we don't understand all that because we are not clear with the process, how things take place during presidential election. Another reason is one of our viewers had requested us to cover this topic. That is why we are here discussing this. And if you also have any topic in mind, please let us know. We will try to take it up in the coming sessions. So let's get started. Before getting into the procedural part of it, before getting into the steps and the stages, we will equip ourselves with the fundamentals. So let's be clear with some of the basics. So these are some of the basic facts. This exercise takes place every 4 years, because the president's term in USA is 4 years, unlike India where it is 5 years. And a person can become the president of USA only 2 times in his lifetime. This restriction was put in 1951. It was not a part of the original constitution of USA. And the mechanism is indirect election, because people of USA do not directly elect their president. They do not vote for the president directly. What they do is they elect some representatives who are known as electors, and these electors will in turn be voting for the president and the vice president. Okay, so that is why it is indirect election, and that is what we follow in India, right? We have not directly voted for Hamid Ansari or Pranab Mukherjee. What we have done is we have elected our MPs and MLAs, and they have in turn elected the president and the vice president, right? So this is indirect election. And the USA has two political party system. They don't have a multi-party system like India. They have only two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. Okay. What are the qualifications of the president of USA? Majorly three qualifications. He should be a US born citizen. He should have completed 35 years of age, and he should be a resident of US for minimum 14 years. John F. Kennedy was the youngest to become the president. John F. Kennedy. He became president at 43 years of age. Has become at 47 years, and he has already completed 2 terms. So he is not eligible for this year's elections. Now coming to the stages of the election, before getting into the detailed study of the stages, let's list them out so that you are clear with the you have a mental framework that how the process takes place. So step one is primaries and caucuses, followed by national convention. Then you have general election, and then followed by electoral college, where the actual voting takes place, and the results are announced. After that, president and vice president take over in the month of January. So primaries and caucuses, national convention, general election, electoral college, and then finally the president takes over. Let's get into the detail. So step one is primaries and caucuses. What is primaries and caucuses? See, there are only two political parties, but within the party there may be many aspirants and candidates who want to become the president, but the party cannot project everyone as the face of the party. So they have to essentially select only one candidate. So who would be that potential candidate? This is a big decision on the part of the party, right? So party has devised a mechanism. So what they do is they have, this is party and it has many members. So party says that okay, we will have some delegates who are also members of the party, special members of the party, and these delegates will vote and decide that who is that one particular candidate who will be representing the party in the presidential race. And how are these delegates chosen? They are elected by the members of the party, by the other members of the party. So there are two levels of voting which is taking place, two levels of elections. First, these delegates are voted, and then these delegates will vote for that one candidate who will be representing the party against the candidate of the opposite party, right? And then finally the final candidate will go into the public, and he will appeal to the public to vote for him. and those are the general elections. So we are at step 1 itself. We are talking about the internal affairs of the party right now, right? So don't get confused. uh, this particular candidate, all the candidates who are aspiring to become the president have to win the favor of their own party men to be projected as the single candidate of the party, right? So these elections of the delegates are conducted in two basic ways: primaries and caucuses. Primaries and caucuses. So what is primaries? Primaries are the elections where the delegates are chosen by a secret ballot, and caucuses where it is informal gathering where people raise their hands and then they vote for the president. So this is a public voting system. So what is the outcome of the step one? Outcome of the step one is you have a set of delegates who will be going to the second stage and voting for their candidate, the final candidate of the party. Now, step two is the national convention. It is a grand event conducted by the party, and this event takes place separately for both the parties. And here, all the delegates of the party will be assembling together, and they will be voting for that one candidate who will be representing the party in the presidential race. So each party holds a national convention to finalize their candidate, and based on the votes of the delegates, the final candidate of the party is elected. After the candidate is finalized, the candidate also selects one running mate. This running mate is the vice president of USA. He becomes a vice president at the later stage. So both the parties are ready with two candidates, right? Chosen through this step one and step two, right? So after step two, you have two candidates from both the parties who will be into the tussle for the president. Okay. And after this step is over, you have election campaigning and debates will be starting, which will be starting soon. Now, after all the debates and appeals to the public, general election takes place. In general election, all the people above 18 years of age, all the adults, all the voters of the country, they come together, and from every state across the country, they vote for one president and one vice president. But they do not do this directly because this is an indirect election. So these people go out and vote. This voting takes place usually on the November of uh, 2nd November of the year, of the election year. The 2nd November is falling on 8th November 2016 this year, and it is also known as Super Tuesday. So this is when the general public comes into picture. So step one and step two was the internal affair of the party. Now we have come in public. The presidential candidate is campaigning for himself, and now he is appealing to the public to vote for him. And on a Super Tuesday, public will be coming out and they will be voting for the president, but they will not be voting for the president directly. Instead, they will be voting for a group of people known as electors. So these are the representatives of the public who will be going ahead, and in the next step, they will be voting for the president because this is an indirect election, right? How many electors are elected? 538 electors are elected totally, who are the members of the Congress. Congress is the Parliament of USA, the name of the Parliament of USA. This consists of two houses. It is a bicameral parliament. So it consists of two houses: House of Representatives, and the Senate. House of Representatives is the lower house, and Senate is the upper house. This consists of 435 members and plus 3 members from Washington DC. Senate has 100 members, 2 members from all the states. So there are 50 states in USA, right? And 2 members each state. So there are 100 members. So totally there are 538 electors. Okay. I hope you are aware that there are 50 states in USA, right? If you see USA flag, there are 50 stars in the flag, right? So these 50 stars represents the 50 states of USA, and 51st is the Washington DC, which has a special status actually. Now let's come to the fourth step or the fourth stage. So fourth stage is electoral college voting. So what is the outcome of the step 3, previous step? You have 538 electors, right? Now electoral college is the group of those electors. It is the institution that elects president and vice president of the USA every 4 years. It consists of the electors which were elected by the general public, who are the representatives of the public, and now they are responsible for electing the president and the vice president. So total seats are 538. That means 538 people will be coming ahead and they will be voting now, right? And how many votes are required to win? 270, 50% plus 1. Okay. So an elector can cast 2 votes, one for the president, one for the vice president, and a candidate, presidential candidate, requires 270 votes to win. Okay. So let's have a close look at this US Electoral College. So this is a map of USA and the states are represented here. The numbers indicated here is the number of electors which are elected from each state. If you see, California has the highest number, 55 electors are elected. So these numbers are based on the population. If you see, Alaska is geographically the largest state of USA, but it has only 3 electors because the population is less. Texas is a major state in terms of number of electors. This is a little old map, 34. It's 38 actually, right? 38 electors. But don't bother about the numbers. You just have the concept. Just have a rough idea. Now let's see what was the result of 2012 presidential election where Obama had won. So the states which are shown in blue color were won by Obama. He managed to get 332 votes, which is far above 270, which is required to win the elections. And Mitt Romney was the competitor from the opposite party, right? And he had won all these states. So if you just have a look at the map, no, then Romney had won more states, but those states were having less number of electors. That is why he lost, right? So this is how it is. This is the electoral college. So after the fourth step is over, the electoral college votes for the president and the results are out. Then it is celebration time, and the president of the USA is finally elected, president and vice president, and he will take over in the month of January in the coming year. Okay. Now if we talk about 2016 elections, then we have these candidates from the two parties. These are the two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. From Democrats, you have two major candidates, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. From Republicans, you have Ted Cruz, Kashish, and you have Donald Trump. Right? These are the major candidates. If you see this diagram, you also have some of the dropped out and not running candidates. Right? Who are these dropped out candidates? See, as we said in the starting only, that within the party there are a lot of candidates who aspire to become the president of USA. But as the process of primaries and caucuses and the subsequent stages start, then they start realizing that we don't have that much support, so it is futile to invest that much energy, time and money in this entire exercise, so they drop out. Okay. And finally only the potential candidates will come up. Now Democrats have only two candidates, Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. So finally, once the result of their national convention comes out, only one candidate will be remaining, who will be the final candidate from this side. And from Republicans also, one final candidate will be projected, and then the final tussle will be between these two candidates, right? So just a quick recap, because the process is little long, so we'll just recap quickly. So you have first stage as primaries and caucuses, where what is the outcome of this? The party members will be voting for the delegates. So outcome is you have a set of delegates which will be going to the second step, which is national convention, which is a party meeting, a grand party meeting. So the delegates will be going here, and then they will be finalizing their presidential candidate. So what is the outcome of national convention? You have a final presidential candidate, final candidate. Okay. Then we come to the step 3, which is general election. Now this candidate will be appealing to the general public. He will be campaigning throughout the country, and then general election take place. See, primaries and caucuses takes place from January to June. National convention usually happens in July, and then the campaigning will go on. General election take place in November. So July to November, the presidential final candidate from both the parties, they will be going across the country and they will be campaigning. Okay, like the election campaigns take place in India. In November, on the second Tuesday of November, the Super Tuesday, general election will take place, where all the adults 18 years of age, above 18 years of age, all the voters will come out and they will vote for the president and vice president, not directly but indirectly, for the electors. So what you have is the set of electors, 538 electors, right? And in the fourth step, these electors will be they are collectively known as electoral college. They are members of the Congress, and then they will be voting for the president and vice president. 270 votes are required to win the election, right? Once the election results are out, usually in the month of December, the president and the vice president will be taking over in the month of January the coming year. Okay. So that's all guys, that's it from my side. If you like this video, please do like, comment, subscribe and share. Please do subscribe so that you get instant notifications whenever we upload a new lecture and you don't miss out anything important. And one more thing, if you have any topic in mind, then please let us know in the comment section and we will try to take it up in the coming sessions. So that's all for now. Thank you. Bye bye.